Hey there, it's John Paulus. You're listening to Life's Potluck Buffet, and today's episode is all about drawing an identity we wish we knew about. So stick around for Worksheet 51. Thanks for joining me today. I'm so glad you could. So Worksheet 51 is a Magenta Noodles worksheet. On the left-hand side of the page, the magenta noodles are a little bit askew today. I could tell you, I think it's 5.1 degrees askew. And so is the title. Because this is thinking about things a little bit differently. So it's kind of a little bit of a reflection of that idea of thinking differently about our identities. Okay, so the instructions are as follows. Draw a picture of an identity you wish you knew something about, then find out about it. Oh, well, that's simple. Okay, let's dive in. I'm going to pick a color of pen, and I'm going to pick this kind of lighter orange, and I'm going to choose a pen. Okay, there we go. So draw a picture of identity. The reason I chose the lighter orange, because the first thing that occurred to me was, and this may involve multiple pictures, I have no idea what's going to happen, was the logo of a, you may remember back in the day, there were malls. We don't really, the kind of the idea of the mall, this place you go on Saturday with your friends or hang out, or in some cases there used to be mall walking clubs for people and all sorts of things. Well, back in the day when that was a thing, there was I think it was a kind of fast food place in a mall that I was familiar with that had a logo of a kind of chef with I'm going to draw a chef's hat here. A chef with a monocle, as I recall, and a mustache maybe. Not sure about the mustache. I'm pretty sure about the monocle. I feel like the monocle may be one of the letters of the name of the restaurant. It wasn't a national chain. It was just, I think, a local. This may have been its only, it might not have been a chain at all. This is maybe its only link of this chain. But that popped to mind, as well as the Planters Peanut Man. Mr. Peanut and Peanut Man. That's a terrible superhero, Peanut Man. If you know what the super... Uh-oh. That thing just fell. Oh, boy. Oh, that was Mr. Peanut getting his revenge. The equipment here just fell. Okay. Oh, boy. That was like the revenge of Mr. Peanut. So, if you know, and I'm afraid to even say this, if you know what the superpower of Peanut Man should be, please put that in the comments. Maybe he undoes villains with his salty words. I guess he's only really a problem to villains who have peanut allergies. So, what would draw a picture of identity you wish you knew something about and find out? What is this identity? It's like, is there such a thing as a logo identity? Like this kind of, the two things I think of are kind of mascots or representatives. There's a really great series, a documentary series about mascots. It's really good. It follows the lives of people who are mascots for either work, or one is a college mascot. It's a really good documentary, and you really learn a lot about what it is to be a mascot, I think. I wonder if there are any teams that have a peanut as a mascot. What am I looking for here? I guess what I'm finding out about is, well, the thing to me about this mall culture is that it really kind of has gone away. There are a lot of what they call dead malls in the United States, at least. Internationally, I feel like malls have undergone a transformation insofar as I feel like the idea of the airport as a mall is the closest thing we have to that now globally, of what I'm thinking of the old mall culture in the U.S. Although, I mean, I've been to places internationally where there are definitely malls that are alive and well, and still people go to them. But I feel like they're more in city spaces, so there's more of an urban feel rather than the suburban feel of American malls. Because the urban malls that exist in America, I could think of a few that are still around, but like a shopping center that's in a kind of downtown area, or at least in a highly densely populated area, or dense commercial area, they still exist for sure. I can think of one right now that's very close to me. And I can think of ones that have closed. I really feel like after the 2008 financial crisis, one that I'm thinking of in particular here in the U.S. in the Midwest closed. And so it's what is this identity? Does this have to do with commercial development? I don't think it has to do with cooking or chefs, because I only remembered just now that, well, that could be a clue. Chef's hats. Do I want to go into haberdashery? I guess hats aren't included in haberdashery. What are hats? Millinery? Is that hats? Monocle, optics, optical. Do I want to know what it's like to be an optometrist? What it's like to be an optician? Ophthalmologist? No, I'm not good with those medical things myself in terms of my own practices. I don't know if you'd want me. I don't know if you'd want me to be your doctor in that regard. So let's just go move past that. Although that would be an identity I wish I knew something about. That's kind of interesting, thinking about like wanting to know what's something that you don't really see that you could possibly reasonably do, like me being an ophthalmologist. It's just not really a possibility. And I think that it would be interesting because that would be an identity that I don't know anything about. I have friends who are doctors. I'm trying to think of anybody I know who I'm close to is an ophthalmologist. There are other practices in other specialties, but I think maybe that's the direction to go in with this worksheet, is to think about what the identity is that is connected with the thing you've drawn. The mall identity is very strong here. I don't know if it's like mall developer, commercial real estate developers. Do I want to know more about commercial real estate development? I was just at an event that involved commercial real estate development, so that's kind of interesting because I was learning something about that. Maybe I want to know more about it, so I'll go and return to that event and try to see what I need to connect with there and who I need to connect with. That's important too. When you come up with a picture of your identity, I think the key here is to really take a deep dive and see if you could connect with someone who has this identity. If your identity resembles anything I've drawn on the screen, with a monocle that has a kind of hook thing coming off of it, a mustache, one eye is closed, there's a chef's hat. If that sounds like you, please let me know. I'd love to talk, and we can find out what identity we're talking about here. I'd love to chat. So give worksheet 51 a try. Draw an identity which you knew about. Think about it, talk about it with someone else, and really kind of take a little bit of a deep dive into that identity and see what happens. I think you'll find out a lot about where you are right now, what you're thinking about, and maybe something new for your future. So thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our daily podcast at Life's Potluck Buffet here on YouTube. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.